If you guys have been around for a while, you probably know a couple of the things that I love. Those include cool web technologies and awesome applications built for the web, backend servers, all of that. But it also includes strong opinions that are well worded and swears. I love me some good swears. I will sneak them in probably far too often. And to those who watch my videos in a room on speakers that have young kids, I am sorry. This is a video that you should not watch with them in the room. I am padding this intro out a little bit intentionally because as soon as I flick over to my screen, my editor's life gets much harder because for the first 30 seconds of a video, you have to avoid swearing in order to not get demonetized and deprioritized in the algorithm. Has it been 30 seconds? I think it's been 30 seconds. We're talking about just fucking using HTML today, and I am so excited to dive into this. Not only are we covering just fucking using HTML, we'll also be covering just fucking using React, just fucking using HTTP, as well as the origin of this concept, the better motherfucking website. We have a lot of fucking to do, but someone has to cover the bill because obviously HTTP does not cover the bills as much as I wish it would. As such, thank today's sponsor for being willing to sponsor such a crazy fucking video, and we'll be right back. It's rare I can say that one product fundamentally changed the way I think about and build software. It's even rarer that it's a company that I didn't like for multiple years, and it's basically never happened before that company is a sponsor. That's why I'm so hyped about today's sponsor, Convex. I did not think I would ever be a Convex guy, but the more I saw my smart friends picking them up, the more I decided to give it a shot myself, and I am so happy I did. Our lives maintaining T3 chat and the quality of experience users have is significantly better, and our database bill is cheaper than it used to be. You can go watch all my other videos about why we move databases, but I'd rather just show you how powerful it is, especially if you're starting from scratch. I just finally put together the submissions portal for the T3 chat clonathon. It was super easy because Convex is true, proper infrastructure as code. I just wrote code in the Convex folder in my code base, and now it can provision the infrastructure as needed, which is super handy when you're using something like, I don't know, Claude Code or Cursor and just letting it vibe code out the whole thing. Basically, the whole submissions portal was vibe coded with Claude Code, and it did it right first try because Convex is really easy for AI to learn because it's just files that it writes. Here's the actual schema that's in the open source T3 Clonathon codebase. I added this submissions field, we gave it a bunch of different values, and we gave it an index on user so I can look things up by a user's user ID. Submissions is even simpler. You can get your current submission. I already have auth set up through Clerk. You can use it with most auth providers. Context.auth.getUserIdentity. If we don't have a user, we throw an error, and if we do, we query for submissions, filter, selecting where the user ID is this. This actually shouldn't be a dot filter. Let's fix it. Dot with index. Look at this. See all the type complete here? By user, q.equal user ID identity.subject. Look at that. I just made our queries way faster. Didn't matter before because the database is already super fast, but now I'm using the index and it's all type safe. If I change this to by users, we get a type error because everything is really built for us TypeScript developers. The code to consume on the client side is basically exactly what you'd expect as a React query user. Use query, api.submission.getSubmissions. Command click brings you back to the backend code. It's all of these little things are figured out. And I'm not even in the dashboard yet, which is honestly one of the coolest parts. If I start talking about how much I love their dashboard, this ad's going to get hours long. Just take my word, it's changed my life. I'll do a whole dedicated video on it in the future probably. Don't make the mistake I made and wait on Convex. Give it a shot today at soydev.link/convex. Wasn't that a cool fucking sponsor? Anyways, let's talk about just fucking using HTML. This is going to be fun, but I want to give a little bit of history first because this is I don't know how to put it other than a historical precedent has been set for this type of content. And it started with this beautiful motherfucking website. The motherfucking website was designed to show how simple and light a web page can be if you just use HTML and nothing else. This is also a very old project. This is a motherfucking website, and it's fucking perfect. Seriously, what the fuck else do you want? You probably build websites and think your shit is special. You think your 13 megabyte parallaxative homepage is going to get you some fucking award banner that you can glue to the top corner of your site. You think your 40-pound jQuery file and 83 polyfills give IE7 a boner because it finally has box shadow. Wrong, motherfucker. Let me describe your perfect ass website. First, shit's lightweight and loads fast. Second, it fits on all of your shitty screens. Third, it looks the same in all of your shitty browsers. Fourth, the motherfucker's accessible to every asshole that visits it. 5, it's legible, and it gets your fucking point across. If you had one instead of just 5 megabyte pics of hipsters drinking coffee. Yeah, because people building these crappy websites with all these pictures are they don't have a fucking point. Also, it's a little thing, but in order to shift the content to the side so it'd be easier to read without my face covering it, I open my sidebar. Look at how fast the content shifts. Let's compare this to something that's notoriously fast, X. I'm going to close the sidebar. Ugh, all that jank hurts. It's one of the better sites with it too. Yeah, just HTML is nice for that, but there are negatives too. If I take this site and we throw it in like a mobile view, it does actually have decent padding on the edges. There must be something in the HTML that's doing that. Let's take a look. There's literally no styling at all here, not even basic CSS. Cool. So I guess the browser does do some padding by default. I wouldn't know because I use a CSS reset like every normal human does. CSS resets are basically essential to building a website with any control at all, but I get it. If you don't have it, just laying out standard HTML is mostly readable. Mostly. There is a lot more I would like to do, but even a little more can go really far. They call out all of the fucking benefits to your website being this simple, and it is pretty nice that like when you go to the network tab and you reload the site, it's 3 kilobytes transferred. It's 2.5 kilobytes of HTML and then 500 bytes of favicon. That's it. That's cool. It makes a really good point. The ratio of data to value of this particular site is really good. But the reason it's good is because it is so minimal. Like that is part of the point it's making. Almost no other website should be done this way, even your personal blog. But with some very slight adjustments, you can make it really good. And that's where we get to better motherfucking website. You might notice some things as soon as we go here. If I close my sidebar, I'm no longer covering up content with my face because there is a max width that makes the content much more readable. It's still super lightweight. It still fits on your screen. We'll get through this. Anyways, this is still a motherfucking website, and it's more fucking perfect than the last guys. Seriously, it takes minimal fucking effort to improve this shit. 7 fucking declarations. That's how much CSS it took to turn this grotesque pile of shit into this easy to read masterpiece. It's so fucking simple, and it still has all the glory of the original perfect-ass website. It's still lightweight and loads fast. It still fits on all your screens. It still looks the same in all your shitty browsers. It's still just as accessible, and it's still legible and gets your fucking point across. And guess what, motherfucker? You never knew it, but it's easy to improve readability on your site. Point 1, let it breathe. Look at lines 1 and 2 of some shitty website you're building. Assuming they're not married, they probably shouldn't be humping. As I said, we're talking about fucking today. The defaults are trash. Pick a minimum line height, 1.4 for body copy. Heading should be tighter. If you can't see that, piss off. Yep, this is how it feels talking to Android and Linux people. They just don't see these simple things as being better because they don't seem to see much at all. If your text hits the side of the browser, fuck off forever. You ever see a book like that? Yes. What a shitty book. This is what I was trying to highlight before. Like being that tight to the borders sucks, especially on mobile. A little less contrast. Black on white? How often do you see that kind of contrast in real life? Tone it down a bit, asshole. I would have even made the site's background a nice 4Es if I wasn't so focused on keeping declarations to a lean 7 fucking lines. Size matters. I know your partner says otherwise, but it's true. God, we're talking about fucking thing just keeps biting me in the ass, doesn't it? Bump that body copy to render close to 16 pixels or more. Smaller types work well for print, not for the screen. I have fought on this so much. I hate 10 and 12 point as the defaults. I have to command plus so many pages, not just for content, but because I don't like reading the font when it's that small. I got in a fight with my team over this for the docs for Ping forever ago. Thankfully, I won, and I think we settled and averaged out on 14, but I wanted 16 point. If you can't fit your point on one screen with 16 point font, simplify your text. Don't make the font smaller. Ugh. Anyways, speaking of readability, line width, motherfucker. Looking at an LCD screen is strainful enough. Don't make me read a line of text that's 200 fucking characters long. Keep it to a nice 60 to 80, and users might actually read more than one sentence of your worthless dribble. I've even noticed myself doing it here. When I started on motherfucking website, I stopped halfway through because it sucks to read something that is structured like this. But if you add 7 lines of CSS, not even, you can flatten them, so 7 declarations of CSS, the whole thing becomes way more readable. And of course, this is also fucking satire. I love what the creator of the original site did. What I'm saying is that it's so simple to make your site easier to read. Websites are broken by default. They are functional, high-performing, and accessible, but they're also fucking ugly. You and all the other web designers out there need to make them not total shit. You're a fucking moron if you use default browser styles. Eleanor Roosevelt. Beautiful. Shout out to Drew MC for this beautiful fucking website. So here's all of the changes. Body, margin 40 pixel auto, max width 650, line height 1.6, font size 18, color for the font to make it so the contrast isn't so bad, padding 0:10. And then headers have their line height adjusted. That is it. 7 declarations, and the site is significantly more readable. I can prove that by copying this, going back to the original motherfucking website, and look at that. Look at how much more readable this is. But let's just go back and forth between the two. Here's the original. Here is 7 lines of CSS. Here's the original, and here's 7 lines of CSS. I understand why you would want to just use HTML. It seems really cool, but 7 fucking lines of CSS, get fucking over yourself. Just do it. It's better for your users. If you hate your users more than you hate CSS and you hate both enough that you would do that, cool, good for you. I like my users enough that I'll get over my hatred of CSS. I'll do the right fucking thing for them. Speaking of doing the right thing for our users, let's go to the best motherfucking website. You probably build websites using Vim and think you're hardcore. You think your 4.99 kilobyte motherfucking website is going to get you some award to put on your damn footer as a link. You think your default font is going to make your website run even on a toaster. Well, guess what? You're wrong, motherfucker. Let me describe the real perfect-ass site that still has the glory of the original. The shit doesn't weigh a ton. It's 35 kilobytes once the cat picture's removed. It weighs exactly 63K, which is significantly less than the Google homepage. It fits on your iPhone 1st gen, even though it doesn't work on your Tamagotchi. It looks almost the same on every screen. Every asshole who visits it can use it without any problem. Well, kind of. It's accessible so everyone can enjoy it, but not everyone can read this. So this text is accessible. Fun. Shit's even more legible than the 2 previous versions, and it also has a cleanish style without looking like an ARPANET project. It doesn't load massive images or scripts. We should all care about people who still use IP over aviation carriers. Always fun to see. It doesn't load your glorious jQuery or jQuery UI. Uses only free and open source fonts like Open Sans. Doesn't include any tracking. Images aren't forbidden, but when SVGs are available, use it. Don't be afraid of using some fucking colors. Look at that. Color changing. That's cool. Links don't need to be kept that shitty blue that the browser gives them, nor the violetish color when they're marked as visited. Give them a nice color. It's actually a good point that both of these are bad about. Links are the same ugly blue. I hate this blue so much. This blue to me signals something broke in my pipeline at this point. Well, guess what? The website's even better than the last guy's and the guy before him. Why? It's over a secure connection, so it's actually HTTPS. The rest weren't. It's using one of the most general TLDs available, .website. That's a choice. What are the others on? These are all .coms. Using .website's sketchy. You're going to get blocked from shit. Uses the kick-ass Let's Encrypt. Use a custom version of the ultra lightweight jQuery. Probably doesn't support all of the web browsers, but that's the best thing. If the user's browser's outdated, they'll notice, and maybe they'll switch from the crap that they're using, like Internet Explorer, to a much cooler browser like Firefox or Chrome. Uses some cool technologies like JS, CSS, HTML. Freaks who are scared of JavaScript will feel safe here since the website doesn't need to have JS enabled to properly render. That's an important point. Supports HTTP 2. Includes cache control headers, so you don't have to waste bandwidth revisiting the page. Has universal access via cores. It's accessible. It's hosted on GitHub Pages, so it's effectively free. It's open source. And it has a do what the fuck you want public license with it. And here's where it really shows off. The little bit of HTML and the little bit of CSS you add can go a long way. You can have a picture with a caption and text next to it that all flows correctly. This one has a lot more stuff at the bottom, which makes it a worse fucking website in my opinion, but you get the point. You don't need much to make things good. And if that was the point that these 3 were making, well, at least the last 2, awesome. I agree we should strive to do more with less, but we shouldn't strive to throw everything away. And that's why I want to do this video, because I have a feeling this HTML article is going to frustrate me because it is going to assert that we should just, throw away everything because sometimes some people use it too much. The fact that some people misuse and overuse React doesn't mean React is bad. The fact that some people misuse and overuse jQuery doesn't mean jQuery is bad. jQuery is bad for other reasons, as is React. And we'll get to all of those in a bit because we have just fucking use React on the docket as well. Anyways, let's go to the thing that has us talking today. Just fucking use HTML. You know what? I'm going to try and copy paste that CSS over here to see how much more readable this site gets to. Jesus Christ, it has so many link tags in here, more than I ever would have expected. What are they doing? Anyways, let's make this more readable. That's going to change the font color and it's black background. So let's, and there we go. Look at that. I made the Just Fucking Use HTML site look significantly better than it does by default without much effort. I want to read this version. I really do. We'll use this, as painful as it's going to be for me. Got to pull up the sidebar again in order to fit it on the page. God, this one even does the thing where it's like all the way on the edge. That sucks. Anyways, let's hear the case for just using HTML. Just fucking use HTML. Hey, dipshit, you know what loads faster than your bloated, over-engineered mess? Plain, unadulterated HTML. Do you know what doesn't break every motherfucking Tuesday? HTML, it just fucking works. Why the fuck are you overcomplicating things, you masochistic fuck? You're out here acting like you're building the next goddamn moon landing when all you need is a button and some text. Newsflash, asshole. The web was doing just fine before your bloated framework crawled out of the sewer. You're out here dropping 10 grand on some fancy-ass framework like it's a Gucci purse, just to haul around the same shitty groceries that you could have carried in a plastic bag from 95. Why the hell are you jumping through all these hoops when HTML's been sitting there, ready to go, since the dawn of the goddamn internet? Because HTML sucked before CSS. Let's be real here. Like, this is much harder to read than the other sites we just read, because the other sites had like 5 lines of CSS that made it better. So you call yourself a web developer? Fucking pathetic. You've got to be kidding me, asshole. Do you even know how to fucking display a button on a screen without the current modern fuckery that you lean on? Here, little shit, is your button. It does nothing because you don't have any JavaScript. Tattoo this code on your forehead so that you'll remember when to look at your fat fucking face in the mirror. God damn it. Again, the readability sucks. I just stuttered over this line 3 times because it's so much harder to read. Whereas if I go back to my version, tattoo this code on your forehead so that you'll remember when you look at your fat face in the mirror. It's so much easier to read when you have to keep track of where you are along the fucking line. This is my issue with these things is there's a good point to be made, but you are ruining it through the website at the same time. Just add a little bit of margin and it becomes so much more readable. Bump the font size up, God forbid. It just makes the site better. Also, funny that they put the fucking button code backwards here. He was willing to write CSS for this and not for anything else. Did you notice something, you smug bastard? This HTML shit is the fucking Energizer Bunny of the web. It just keeps going. No fancy plugins or updates required. Your precious framework is out there choking on its own hype, obsolete before you even finish the tutorial, while this button's still kicking ass like it owns the place. It's been here since the web was a screaming toddler, and it'll still be standing when your stack's just a dusty footnote in some asshole's commit history. Can't make shit beautiful with HTML, you say? Eat this, you pixel-pushing fuck. It's a beautiful fucking button. Why is it beautiful? It's visible, it's clickable, and it just is fucking beautiful. No, it's not. This is an awful button. The padding is terrible on it. And you can't do hierarchies either. It's impossible to make it clear which is destructive and which isn't. You need some goddamn CSS. Seriously, what else do you fucking need, you entitled prick? A goddamn participation trophy for using a framework to do what HTML does out of the box? Maybe a gold star for managing to overcomplicate something that's been solved for decades? Get over yourself, asshole. HTML works, and it doesn't need your bullshit to prove it. It's funny that every time, and this is the issue I have with the anti-JS framework people, is it's clear they're not anti-JS. They are anti-web. This proves it. You can make the React sucks point without making your site unreadable in the process. Just add some CSS. It doesn't have to be a separate file. It can be inlined in your beloved HTML. The problem is that the people who hate React and hate these other frameworks, they don't hate them because they're ruining the web. They hate them because they hate the web. They're mad that the internet got good, and they're blaming the technology for making the internet good. And they refuse to use even basic improvements. And I'm not sitting here saying every single site should be built on a fancy T3 stack Next.js like project using Tailwind everywhere. I'm saying you should use the standard that makes the thing more readable. Just fucking add a little bit of CSS, man. It kind of makes sense that the people who write these fancy diatribes against React and other JS frameworks will actively refuse to even use the basics of CSS. It's such a consistent point, and it's so often that I see this, where the people who hate on React will avoid making things that are actually usable. There's a very, very small subset of people that this doesn't apply to, and I've sadly found that most of them are insane for different reasons. I still entertain the conversation with them, like Alex Russell, for example. He deeply cares about the web. He has the bias of hating React because he has seen so many terrible, slow, awful React sites because he would be pulled in to fix them. So he hates React coming from that perspective. And even though I think half of what he says is entirely wrong and biased, I entertain the conversation because he's coming from a place of loving the web. I did a whole debate with him where he talked 3 times more than me, and I loved it because he's coming from the same perspective I am. He wants the web to be better. We might have different opinions on how we get there, but he does want the web to improve. These people don't want the web to improve. They want it to be exactly where it was 30 years ago. I didn't even read this until now. I didn't realize AI was going to be part of this. Oh, fucking Christ. Now that we have AI, you still use JS frameworks? Are you fucking serious? AI is out here, a gift from the heavens, or at least from Sam Altman's Nerd Fortress, ready to write your shitty little to-do app in 5 seconds flat. It can churn out pixel-perfect HTML, debug your fuck-ups, and probably even wipe your ass if you ask nicely. But no, you're still humping your frameworks like they're the last lifeboat off the Titanic. What the hell is wrong with you? Are you addicted to having 10,000 dependencies in a build process that takes longer than your last failed relationship? Sam Altman's AI army is laughing its silicon balls off while you're knee-deep in React's virtual DOM shit, praying your app doesn't choke on its own bloated corpse. This isn't progress, it's a fucking tragedy. You've got a shiny new Ferrari in your garage, and you're still riding a rusty tricycle with a flat tire. Grow the fuck up. This is such a self-own. It is hilarious. And this part makes literally 0 sense at all, because AI is not capable of knowing what changes in a code base over time in a realistic way. If I write some minimal JavaScript to fire the AJAX request from my fucking beautiful button, and then I change the ID of the button, or I put it in a second place, that JavaScript just broke entirely. The thing that makes tools like React good, both for big teams and for AI, is the deterministic nature of the top to bottom rendering method. The fact that the function a button calls isn't triggered by some JS somewhere else binding to a random magic string. It's instead triggered by the thing that makes the HTML also binding the behavior. There's a huge difference between the HTML having a button and the JavaScript having to find the button and bind the behavior versus the JavaScript making the button and defining the behavior at the same time. That deterministic link makes everything easier. And I can tell from reading this that this author is also against things like TypeScript in JavaScript because it's another fucking dependency, even though it makes coding with AI way better because it gives you errors when it gets things wrong. I cannot believe that when I scroll the comments on this video later, people are going to tell me I'm wrong about this because it's so fucking evidently true that having proper declarative structure in your apps, a consistent way of binding behaviors between things, and a type system that tells you what does and doesn't exist, it's obviously fucking better for AI. And the comments in this video are going to suck because a bunch of people who work on an app themselves that have no users are going to tell me, well, for me, my vanilla JS site with 2 users, AI is totally fine at that, so you're wrong. You're not even fine with that. I guarantee you're shipping regressions as you fucking speak. It's annoying because you could literally flip the entirety of these 2 paragraphs and it becomes true. And the only way you'd think otherwise is if you spend literally no time building for the web or the minimal possible to throw together a shitty HTML file. I was recently working on a project where I didn't use a framework. The project is on Duck. It's my search engine. And the amount of random issues all the AI models had trying to make sure they bound the right button to the right JavaScript because it's not declarative is terrifying. I hate this. I am concerned that people will read this and think that React is making it so their AI code is worse, or that TypeScript is getting in the way as they vibe code their way through shit. It's the opposite. It makes using those tools significantly more reliable. The only way you would ever think this is if you've never worked in a jQuery codebase with more than one person. The moment you are targeting elements in the DOM from JavaScript with more than one engineer working on it at the same time, you will immediately know how hellish this is. I love this analogy from chat. Thank you, Silver Lightning. Why do we need GPS? We have walking plus AI now. I bet you that those self-driving cars, they don't need a GPS because they have AI now. It can just navigate through the streets totally fine. Do you see how fucking stupid that sounds? It's fucking obvious. I love that I can say fuck however much I want in this video. Thank you to the authors. The one fucking good thing this author did. Anyways, let's hear their perspective on why HTML fucking rocks. Everyone knows HTML. Do you see how long this line is, even with my giant, I'm on a 720p screen. I almost want to switch the resolution quick so you could see how bad this is on a normal screen size. Here's how this would look on a Surface Pro 7 with the default font size. Notice you can't fucking read anything? It's a 7-inch display. You get the fucking point. Let's do a realistic thing. Let's do 1440p. 2560 by 1440. Do you see how fucking unreadable this becomes? That is entirely unusable. Whereas, with the basic changes to the same fucking web page, significantly better. And even then, like, we're on a small display, shrunk there. It's still not where I'd want, but it's 100 times better, even just from that. Or if we switch this over again to the Surface Pro 7, that's actually readable now. It's not great. Like, I would pinch the zoom on it for sure. But on an actual 7-inch display that's like right up in my face, that's readable. That's significantly better. All that said, I would like to, on different screen sizes and real estates, change the font a little bit, but to each their own. Let's keep trying to read this fucking website. As the author said, everybody knows HTML. Listen up, dipshit. Every fucking buddy knows HTML. Your dearly great-grandma, she was out there in the goddamn trenches of World War II, dodging Nazi bullets while hand-coding table layouts to send encrypted messages to the Allies. Your granddad, he's got a motherfucking PhD in HTML from the prestigious University of Who Gives a Rat's Ass, probably hanging right next to his I Survived Dial-Up trophy. Your dad, that bastard was mumbling div and span before he could even choke out mama. Shit, even your drooling mutt probably has a side gig churning out HTML sites on Fiverr. So why the fuck are we still stuck answering your brain-dead questions? Jesus Christ, get with the program. No fucking hydration errors. Drink some water, asshole. Good idea. What in the ever-loving fuck is a hydration error? Sounds like some hipster bullshit that a barista would spew when your overpriced oat milk latte isn't wet enough. I just want to say, as somebody who reads a lot of things for content, succinctly reading this in this format, it fucking sucks. This is so much harder to like read word for word properly than if it just had a little bit of fucking padding. I'm giving up. We're going back here so I can actually read this and not feel insane. So thanks to the better motherfucking website for making this fucking use HTML website fucking readable. This is so much easier. Anyways, tree shaking? Are you kidding me? What is this, a coding boot camp or a lumberjack convention? Yeah, boss, I spent all day shaking trees to trim my JavaScript bundle. Where's my flannel shirt? Who the hell invents this pretentious crap? I don't have time to decode your buzzword salad, you self-important jackass. HTML doesn't pull this nonsense. It just fucking works. You see how much fucking easier that was for me to read? From that one change, from 7 lines of CSS? This author needs to get fucking over himself. Also, tree shaking isn't a thing you spend time doing. It's a fucking feature in the fucking tools that we use. The same way you're not talking about fucking kerning because you don't know anything about fonts, you just let the browser do it. We're not talking about fucking tree shaking. You don't need to support HTML. Ever seen some motherfucker hire a whole team just to babysit HTML? That's fucking right. Nobody does that bullshit. That's because they're not hiring for the HTML. They're hiring for people to maintain the jQuery chaos that makes the HTML fucking useful. HTML is so damn reliable, it doesn't need a 24/7 support hotline like some needy-ass framework does. While your bloated, over-engineered frameworks are out there throwing tantrums every time a browser updates or crying for patches every 5 minutes, HTML just sits back, cracks a beer, and does its goddamn job. So next time some slick salesman tries to shove premium HTML support down your throat, tell him to fuck off. You're the one trying to convince me HTML is enough. You don't need to deploy HTML. Yes, you fucking do. It needs to be hosted fucking somewhere. Deploying HTML, that's easier than deleting your browser history after a porn binge. Just throw your files into a web server directory and boom. What the fuck do you think deployment is? Also, does this mean you like PHP? Because that's the same with PHP. You just drop it and it works. I personally think CSS is more important than PHP is for basic readability reasons, but again, to each their own. Also, you can just put your fucking CSS in there too, and you can probably just put your fucking JS in there as well. You know? Yeah? If your issue is server rendering, just say that. But your issue isn't server rendering, your issue is the web getting better. The whole fucking internet can see your crappy page. No 12-step deployment process, no DevOps wizards casting spells, no fucking Docker containers or CI/CD pipelines. You know that the same person is also talking shit on fucking Vercel all the time, which in my opinion makes this so much funnier, because on one hand, they're saying all of these things suck, and on the other hand, they're saying the people who fix these things and the products that make you avoid these things also suck. They don't want the problem solved, they want things to stop moving. They want backend to be where the interest and complexity is, so they talk shit on front end constantly. I see this all the time. And I say this coming from backend as one of these people. I would have loved this shit in 2017 before I grew the fuck up. Back to the article. Just drag, drop, and you're done. Meanwhile, your fancy frameworks need a goddamn NASA launch sequence just to push a button that says hello world. HTML doesn't give a shit about your trendy deployment tools. It's the dive bar of the web. Always open, no frills, just works. Your framework, the hipster cafe that's temporarily closed every time you need it. What's cool about frameworks? Most of them let you use fucking HTML and JavaScript and CSS. Crazy. You don't need a sparkling ass UI to make shit look good, dumbass. All you need is fucking brains. Every year, yet another steaming pile of shit gets released. Blazingly fast frameworks that are 2 farts ahead of the previous groundbreaking crap. Some call it progress. More rounded corners, more colorful colors, and one more thing to learn. It is funny because these are all things we've been moving away from. Corners are getting less rounded. We're in a brutalist era right now. Colors, people are complaining that we're going all in on black and white right now. Just fucking use HTML. I shit you not, it actually looks good. I am literally reading the site with a little bit of CSS changes because it looks so fucking bad otherwise. Bold text, check. Underline text, got it. Strike fucking through. Highlight text, emphasize text. Check, check, check. And holy shit, check again. HTML has been doing this while you were still drooling over React. Oh, and abbreviations? HTML. Go ahead. Find your dirty trackpad behind the slice of pizza and hover over this motherfucker. Hyper motherfucking text. Cool. Do you see how long that took? I'm hovering now. Then it comes up. That sucks. Even the tooltip timing in Radix by default sucks. Having things take that long to come up, it means like I do this, I'm like, oh, it's not going to happen. And then I move away and then it starts. Like, wait, what? And then by the time I'm back, it's already gone again. I have to wait again. It sucks. The default behavior here is shit. It shows just how bad these things are. You can use H2s to have big text. H3 for slightly smaller text. H4, H5, H6. Also, want to see how much worse that looks on the original? God, look at how much worse this version looks. It's actually hilarious. Even when you're showing off how good these things are, like bold text and underlines, this section looks so much worse in your version. So much worse. See, HTML's got hierarchy. You can't tell in your fucking version, you fucking asshole. Just add some padding and suddenly the hierarchy becomes significantly better. Interactive shit, HTML's got it. No JS needed. I do love that there's finally expanding properties, but notice that it switches to the cursor for text when you hover over it. Do you notice how all of these examples are actually slightly worse than if you just wrote one line of CSS, the thing that this author has clearly avoided doing at all costs? I see somebody in chat saying that the author never said don't use CSS. The article is titled just fucking use HTML. It is explicitly saying don't use CSS. If he's not saying don't use it, why the fuck didn't he use it then? Anyways, it's nice that there are now expandable like accordions and shit in the browser, but the fact that the default cursor type is the text selection cursor and not a clickable is enough a reason to at the very least add some fucking CSS. Oh, and look, popovers. Notice how I can't dismiss it without manually fucking doing something about it. There's no X button or anything here. I have to remember that I can hit the escape key. And how do I do that on fucking mobile? Who fucking knows? Cool that exists in the fucking browser now. But you know how many browsers don't support that yet? I thought HTML just fucking worked. You're gonna tell me popovers just fucking work in every browser? Fucking dare you to try that shit in Firefox. Let's fucking try it. Cool. Kind of fucking works. Nice. It did not work even months ago. The new popover layer is a very, very new thing. So don't pretend that it's always fucking been there. And don't get me fucking started on scroll areas. Here's a common CSS problem, just a browser standards problem that I run into often. We have this card. It has an outer container that just is the div that it's in. And in here, we have 2 divs. One is this bottom div that has this color. Let's just say this has a green fucking color. So this bottom part is green. And this top part has a little button in it that has a tooltip. If we want this background that is green to not overflow past the corners, so we don't want it to go fucking there, we want it to stop at the edges. Even if you don't have the rounded corners, you just set overflow width to be a specific value. So we set overflow width to be hidden, but we set overflow height, overflow wide to be visible. And now we have our little fucking tooltip here. When you click this yellow thing here, this tooltip will not be visible because of the overflow X rule. If you turn off overflow on one dimension, you no longer can overflow the other. This sucks. Basically, every behavior in this is bad. It's so annoying that when you turn on overflow X hidden, you lose overflow Y like functionality entirely. This now becomes scrollable, even though we didn't set any scroll behaviors. That sucks. This is so bad. And I've never seen any of the people talking all of this shit even acknowledge that we need a popover layer in order to solve these types of fucking problems. This is the stuff that when I first got into front end, I just assumed would be easy to do because everyone told me it would be. I wasn't a front end dev, I was a back end dev. So when I started doing tool tips for cards and our fucking like safety tools at Twitch, and the design came through and I had to make a little pop-up thing, I thought it'd be fucking easy. And it fucking sucked. I had to bring in like 3 libraries to fix that shit. Z-indexing does not fucking solve this problem either. I don't want to call it a specific chatter, so I'm not going to cut to chat and show it, but the suggestions I've seen in chat show just how fucking stupid most devs are about this stuff if they don't fucking write HTML and web stuff for a living. It's fucking hard. Z-indexing doesn't change anything when the overflow X and Y behaviors are defined at all. You can't just fucking work around this shit. You have to use shit like fucking Popper, and it sucks that that's the case, but it is because web standards are shitty. Now they have made a new fancy version, floating UI, and as we see, it's broken as shit on fucking Firefox because, again, web standards fucking suck, but you get the fucking point. See this type of thing where you scroll and the tooltip's still fucking visible? You know how fucking hard that is to do normally? It sucks. I wish they would fix this, but they won't because it'll break some old fucking website because some fucking asshole like these motherfuckers insist that they can write HTML and not make the site actually good and expect it to work the exact same fucking way many fucking years later. And I think that's fucking stupid. To each their fucking own. Oh, and look, a dialogue. Cool. Do you know how much hell I've been through with the dialogue standard? Do you know how broken this shit gets when you try to expand the width and height on it? Did you know the browser auto inserts default padding and margins on this shit that are basically impossible to reset without crazy targeting that I've had to fight every single fucking time I try to use the built-in fucking dialogue? It fucking sucks. I have fought this particular element so goddamn hard. See this shit? This is a dialogue that I fucking set to 100% width and 100% height. See that? I know it's Tailwind and it might give you a fucking aneurysm, but ignore the fact that it's Tailwind and pretend this is just normal fucking CSS. H screen width screen, that's 100 VW, 100 VH. You know what those do. But despite that, it doesn't fucking work. See all the padding on the bottom and the side here? That fucking happens because the standard fucking sucks. The solution, thanks to Wacko for finding it and pointing it out, is you have to manually target dialogue : modal. You can't just target fucking dialogue. You gotta target this weird pseudo fucking class because fucking assholes like this fucking author insist on the browser doing enough with HTML. It can't. The CSS that comes with the browser fucking sucks, and I spend more time overriding it than benefiting from it every fucking day of my fucking life. Generally speaking, if people on the other side say things are more complex and to choose the complex things, and you don't do the thing for a fucking living, there's a good chance you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I know I meme on Kubernetes a bunch, but imagine if I made a website that was an in-depth rant that is, you don't fucking need Kubernetes. Just use a fucking Lambda. Your work is fucking simple enough you can use a fucking Lambda. That'd be fucking stupid because there are a lot of things where Kubernetes benefits you a fucking lot. And as much as I love to make fun of it, because if you're using it for a small startup with 10 users, you're making a fucking mistake. It is nonsense to pretend that using just Lambda for everything ever will be enough for all of the fucking work you want to do. It's just not how it fucking works. That's a good message from chat. Fuck a race condition. Ever tried to full screen a dialogue? Yeah, actually though, it's insane how hard this shit can fucking get. It shouldn't be this hard, and I hate that it is this hard. But the reason these tools exist isn't because we're incompetent, it's because the browser's incompetent. But cool, your form works on a Casio calculator. Congrats. How does that form look on the original fucking site? Fine, but obnoxious. There's no hierarchy at all. You lose track of what you're looking at once you're here. Oh, the calendar picker. Do you know how fucking lucky you are that this is now in the browser? Do you know how hard I had to work to make our safety tooling work in Firefox and Chrome because we had 2 users that really wanted to use Firefox? Funny enough, Firefox had a built-in date time picker before Chrome did. So I had to bring in my own fucking date time picker. It was so fucking obnoxious. I'm pumped that this works in the browser now, but it still fucking sucks. The fact that it's like 3 different fucking sections, there's no way to pick a time. I have to manually type it. That sucks. There are so many datetime pickers that are just one line of HTML you add to your code that hits the right source, and then you can mount something different instead. It's, God, it sucks. Fucking sucks. Why not write assembly then? Oh, here comes the genius motherfucker with the big brain counterargument. Well, if HTML is so great, why not write everything in assembly? Wow, look at you, you clever little prick. Did you come up with that all by yourself? I never said fucking anything like that at fucking all. That is not the counterargument. You are doing such a bad faith counterargument here. You're not even willing to acknowledge the other side. You're just too busy making fucking fun of them. Did you know that when you slap an ID on your HTML element, HTML doesn't just sit there like a lazy fuck? It actually creates a fucking variable in JavaScript for you. Do you know why it fucking does that? Fucking does that because fucking jQuery did that and people realized that jQuery was a fucking better way to build. Now go try it. Open the console and type, I am doofus. Boom. Cool. There you go. It makes it a fucking global. Do you know how fucking bad that is? You know how much that fucking sucks? And the reason you have to do that is because lazy assholes like you won't use a real fucking framework. I hate that. I actually hate that that's the default behavior. That there's implicit globals whenever you use an ID. That fucking sucks. Yeah, what are the console warnings? It's loading plausible and it's failing to load because I have privacy settings on. Cool. I don't think plausible should be blocked by ad blockers, but it is by default. Annoying. Is HTML flexing its muscles, showing you it's not just some static bitch. It's dynamic, it's powerful, it's been carrying your sorry ass since day one. Meanwhile, your JS is out here acting like it's the star of the show, when really it's just riding HTML's coattails like a cheap date. So next time you're jerking off to your fancy JS framework, remember, HTML is the one doing the real work, and it's laughing at your overcomplicated bullshit. I hate this. We're moving on. Who's the author? Oh, did he not even target blanket? You know someone sucks at building fucking websites when they don't target blank the external fucking links. I'm gonna go fucking insane. God, you gotta love those awful purple pink colors too. It's great. Let's move on to something a little more fun. Just fucking use React. This one's even got a clown picture there. Look, I get it. You saw that other site. HTML is king. Keep it simple, stupid. My GeoCities page from 98 still loads faster than your SPA. Fucking adorable, like a toddler proudly showing off a mud pie. It's a nice sentiment, like wishing we could all go back to bartering with seashells instead of dealing with goddamn stock markets. But the web isn't just a collection of fucking pamphlets anymore, you fossil. It's where work gets done, where communities are built, where complex interactions happen. You know, shit that actually does something beyond displaying your fucking beautiful button. It's also worth noting that the fucking website we just looked at is only relevant because people shared it on Twitter, an actual interactive fucking site. There's been a common sentiment in my chat that these people are mad about build issues and that's where a lot of their frustrations come from. Not unlikely, but the people who are mad about build issues are also mad at companies like Vercel for making builds easier. So I just can't fucking stand them. If they would come to us sharing the thing that is making life hard for them, we could have a fucking conversation about that, but they'd rather say everything we do ever is fucking useless. And that's my problem. Anyways, what the fuck is this about? This is about acknowledging that sometimes complexity is not a choice, it's a fucking requirement. And when that complexity hits, trying to wrangle it with document.getElementById and a prayer, it's like trying to build a goddamn space shuttle with fucking popsicle sticks and glue. Woo! Bars. I'm gonna love this one. We're finally getting to one I'm really gonna like. Okay, I liked Better Fucking Website a lot. It was such a realistic take between. This is gonna go in on my side though. You might get something that looks vaguely shuttle-shaped, but it'll be a wobbly, unmaintainable, terrifying piece of shit that explodes on the launch pad. This is a call to embrace the tools built by smart motherfuckers to solve the hard problems so you can focus on building your cool shit, not reinventing the goddamn wheel for the 87th time this sprint, you stubborn jackass. Why the fuck would I ditch my pure HTML nirvana for this JavaScript sorcery? Because you're not just displaying static text from a fucking stone tablet, are you? You want to build something interactive, something dynamic, something that doesn't make your users want to gouge their eyes out with a rusty spoon. You want to build an application, not a fucking flyer. Here's why you should just fucking use React, or Vue, or Svelte, or Angular if you're a masochist. The point is a modern framework, you troglodyte. Troglodyte. The pronunciation of these words is hard, no matter how nice the site is. HTML's interactivity is for fucking guest books and circus sideshows, not an actual application, you delusional twat. But HTML has details and dialogue and forms. Yeah, and your toddler has crayons. Adorable, but not exactly the tools for designing a fucking skyscraper, are they? Whew, I love that. You think you're gonna build a real-time collaborative editor or a dynamic trading dashboard or an enterprise-grade project management tool with those HTML interactive elements and a sprinkle of on-click? You're dreaming, you magnificent simpleton. That shit is for when you need a button to say boo, not for orchestrating complex user workflows. HTML gives you a fucking pebble. Frameworks give you a goddamn quarry and the heavy machinery to build a fortress. What are you going to build with your pebble, huh? A really impressive fucking paperweight? Well, if you duct tape 3 pebbles together, it can hold down a lot of paper, man. I don't know if you really need to have all that machinery. This one's so much better already. State management, you clueless ape. Oh, you think managing a like button state by toggling a class is peak complexity? Cute. Try building a dashboard with a dozen filters, real-time updates for 10 different sources, user preferences that change everything, and collaborative editing where 5 assholes are mashing keys at once. Your simple JavaScript will turn into a spaghetti monster that'll make Cthulhu look like a fucking Teletubby having a tea party. Frameworks give you sane ways to manage this chaos. Without them, you're just pissing into the wind, hoping a global variable doesn't fuck you sideways. Thank you for saying this. And pretending that AI somehow solves this problem when it actually makes it fucking worse? And here's a fun demo with some crazy state to manage. And I'm sure that this was vibe coded to all fucking hell. We can change the clusterfuck speed, change how fast or slow this is being generated, turn on and off different indexes, all as it's updating automatically, change the number of rows being shown dynamically. And we can do all this shit relatively trivially with everything updating accordingly. Try this shit yourself. Toggle metrics, adjust speed, inject chaos. This isn't even fucking possible with plain HTML. You'd need a goddamn framework. Vanilla.js would be a fucking nightmare here, a recursive hellscape of DOM manipulation and callback bullshit. React handles this complexity so you don't lose your goddamn mind. State management isn't a luxury, it's a fucking necessity. Now we're talking. I'm liking this a lot. Components, motherfucker, do you speak it? Remember when you copied and pasted the same navigation bar, HTML, into 30 different pages, then had to update it in 30 different places because the client wanted a new fucking link? Yeah, fucking brilliant. You probably felt like a goddamn genius. And don't get me fucking started on web components. It does not fucking solve this problem because web components require JS on the client side, which means you now have your whole navigation bar pop in after the JS loads. You cannot make reusable HTML chunks without a fucking framework of some goddamn form. Whew. Frameworks like React force you to think in terms of reusable encapsulated components. Build a button once, style it once, add its logic once, and then reuse that beautiful bastard everywhere. Change it in one place and it updates everywhere. This isn't just convenience, it's fucking sanity at scale, you repetitive dolt. And again, with the AI point, it makes the AI more effective too. When you don't have to worry about a change in one place breaking things somewhere else because you have a system that builds the relationship between them instead of the relationship being a bunch of fucking magic strings. Like, just seriously, sit and think about it. If you're against this article and you're in favor of the previous one, do you sincerely think that magic fucking strings that bind themselves as globals whenever you put an ID on a fucking field, that is actually more maintainable and a better way to build your service than to just use a fucking framework? You actually sincerely think that magic fucking strings with no runtime guarantees at all are the better way to make this application because you can save a couple fucking kilobytes of JS? Get fucking over yourself. Smarter UI updates so you don't have to be a fucking DOM manipulating peasant. Remember trying to manually update a dozen different parts of your page when one piece of data changed? You'd be there, meticulously telling each span and div to refresh, praying you didn't miss one or cause the whole goddamn page to flicker like a haunted TV possessed by a meth addict. Frameworks are built to be clever about this shit. You tell them what your UI should look like based on your data. When the data changes, the framework does the heavy lifting. It's like having a super smart assistant who only redraws the bits that actually need redrawing instead of repainting the whole damn house every time you move a fucking chair. You're really going to sit there and imperatively poke at the DOM like some kind of digital caveman? Somebody said they thought the original was satire. Looks like it's sincere. Shouldn't AI be generating plain HTML, CSS, and JS, eliminating the need for extra dependencies? Good times create React. React creates hard times. A lot of complaints about loading spinners. Is edit plain HTML, JS, CSS? No, the article we just read was not satire. I know it reads like satire because it's so fucking stupid, but he actually just fucking hates React that much. These people are that delusional. I need y'all to understand it. I'm not being harsh just for making it fun for the video. These fuckers are actually that delusional. I know they seem like characters, but they're not. There's a reason that I like Carson and the HTMX guys so much, because they actually acknowledge that HTML isn't enough. They are trying to extend it to make it so you can build something fucking functional. Don't let them get away with, oh, it's a joke, when they mean every word that they're fucking saying, and they're making shit that nobody fucking uses. This article is written by somebody who actually builds things that people actually use, and it's a much better fucking point. even though I wish he had fixed the width of the page a little bit more, but that's an aside. Accessibility at scale? Good luck with your semantic div soup and prayers, asshole. Just use semantic HTML, they shriek, like they've discovered the goddamn Rosetta Stone. Fucking groundbreaking. That's Web Dev 101, you patronizing prick. What happens when your simple HTML tags aren't enough for the complex custom UIs that your applications actually need? Think custom data grids that sort and filter, accessible combo boxes that don't suck, or tree views that a screen reader can actually navigate. You think slapping role equals button on a div and calling it a day makes your app accessible? Get the fuck out. Okay, to be fair and to push back a little bit, I've seen more of this from React devs than just HTML devs. The HTML devs make mistakes like not having contrast or readable pages because they refuse to use fucking HTML and CSS alongside it. That's a separate fucking rant. Real accessibility for complex widgets means meticulous area attributes, robust focus management, and proper keyboard navigation. With your just HTML and vanilla JS approach, you're hand cranking that for every single instance, praying you don't fuck it up and make some poor bastard's life hell. Frameworks let you build an accessible component once, nail all that shit, and then reuse it, ensuring consistency. Oh, and even fucking better, when somebody comes to you because they have an accessibility need and they say, hey, the buttons on your fucking website don't fucking work for me, you update your fucking button component in one fucking place and now the whole fucking website's up to date. You don't have to obsessively check in every code review that every single button on every single page uses the right fucking accessibility attributes because they're already bound on that other component. And if you need labels on all of them, make it a fucking prop that's mandatory. Now you have to put it fucking everywhere. Are you going to manually put area expanded on 50 different accordions, you goddamn masochist? Just HTML for complex apps often becomes just fucking inaccessible for everyone who isn't you. That simple HTML facade hides a swamp of manual JS bullshit that you're too stubborn to admit exists, you fucking ostrich. No hydration errors, no tree shaking, they boast. Like these are the plagues sent by Satan himself, rather than sophisticated solutions to complex problems that you will face if you build anything more advanced than a fucking under construction GIF. Avoiding framework solutions doesn't make the problem disappear, dipshit. It just means that you are now manually wrestling with the DOM diffing, state propagation, code splitting, and performance optimizations, probably with the grace of a drunken donkey. Yes, because people fucking hate the web. They don't care enough to fix these things. And honestly, by the time they have these problems because they have actual users, they just fucking hire some random React bro to fix it for them and then keep bitching while they don't understand anything going on. And by the way, if you're ever talking to one of these people because they want to hire you, do not work for them. They will make your life hell. If you actually care enough to fix these things, they will look down on you for fucking doing it. And it sucks. I've been in a position before where I was the one web guy on a team of back-end people that fucking hated the web, and it sucked. The other reason I could get around it is I have the back-end credentials to be respected by them, so when I would tell them that a fucking problem matters, I could bully them into giving me the fucking time to fix it. But that took a lot of like balls on my part and history that I could use to stand up against them. And if you don't have those types of credentials with these people, do not fucking work for them. They're going to look down on you. You can tell from the fucking stuff that they're writing. Anyways, you're not choosing simplicity. You're choosing to reinvent countless wheels badly and call it artisanal purity. It's like bragging that your car has no engine while you're pushing it uphill in a fucking blizzard with your bare feet, screaming, "This is fine." So fucking real. Relying on HTML5's auto global JS variables? That's amateur hour shit from the Jurassic period of the web, you fucking hack. So HTML magically creates a JS variable for any element with an ID? Wow, what a feature. From 98, when your modem sounded like a dying robot. Relying on that is like building your house on a foundation of wet toilet paper and hoping for the best. It pollutes the global namespace, it creates impossible to debug naming collisions, and it's a one-way ticket to a fragile, unmaintainable code base that will make your future self, and anyone else who has to touch it, curse your very existence. God, imagine working in a code base where somebody actually relied on this. Do you know how hellish that would be to just touch? Oh God, I don't even want to think about it. Frameworks drag you, kicking and screaming if necessary, towards sanity. Scoped components, explicit props, and actual state management solutions that don't rely on praying that window.myfuckingbutton doesn't get clobbered by some other piece of shit code. That's not HTML lending crutches. It's HTML setting fucking landmines in your code, you clueless buffoon. Developer experience actually fucking matters unless you really enjoy pain. HMR, see your changes instantly without losing state. I actually do not understand how any web devs live without this. The fact that Remix didn't have this for a bit is just absurd to me. Like, they fixed it, but I cannot live without HMR at this point. type JavaScript with TypeScript, catch errors before they hit production, and make you look like a fucking idiot. A massive ecosystem of libraries for everything, from internationalization to animation, linters, formatters, debuggers that actually work instead of making you want to punch your monitor. Frameworks, especially React, bring an entire ecosystem that makes your life as a dev less miserable. That means you can build better shit faster. Stop pretending that wrestling with browser quirks and document.write in vanilla.js is somehow noble and a character-building pursuit. It's just fucking stupid. Performance isn't just about initial load like some primitive page speed fetishist. It's about perceived performance and interaction, you short-sighted goon. I talk about this a lot because to this day, Ping.gg, specifically the Zoom for Streamers side, is regularly cited as the fastest thing I've ever built. People say when they use this that it feels so fast. The reason is because I do all of the loading client side. I load up all the JavaScript, and there's a ton of fucking JavaScript for this site as soon as you go to it. And now when you navigate, it feels immediate. Even if the next thing you see is a loading spinner, you click a button and then you immediately see that loading spinner. It feels so much faster to not wait on the network round trip, even if it's actually objectively slower to get to the endpoint. If you click, immediately see a loading spinner and then wait a second, or you click, wait 200 milliseconds and then see the page, the loading spinner feels faster still. It's crazy that that's the case, but it absolutely is. And if you're blocking every single interaction on the server, you're fucking stupid and don't understand performance. My HTML site loads in 50 milliseconds. Cool. Now add user login, dynamic content, filtering, sorting, and real-time updates without the page shitting itself. Frameworks, especially when paired with their extended ecosystems like Next.js or Remix, give you tools like code splitting, which will only load the JS that you actually need for the page, server-side rendering, or static site generation for fast initial loads and dynamic capabilities, as well as client-side navigation that feels instantaneous. You can build a lightning-fast application, not just a fast document that does fuck all. But what about the fucking bloat, the JavaScript overload? My users are on dial-up in Antarctica. Yes, a hello world in a framework is bigger than a hello world in HTML. No shit, Sherlock. Are you building a fucking hello world app for prod? If you're building a 5-page static brochure site for your aunt's dog walking business that hasn't had a customer since 2003, then yes, for the love of God, just fucking use HTML and some CSS. The other site's right about that. You don't need a fucking bazooka to swat a fly. The other site does not mention CSS. I don't think it mentions it at all. It doesn't. Literally, CSS does not appear on this page. It actually says HTML has hierarchy and, importantly, style. The only instance of the word style on this page is saying that HTML has it already. He refuses to even acknowledge CSS. But I agree with both this author and with Better Fucking Website, because the Better Fucking Website acknowledges that a little bit of CSS goes a long way. If you're building a SaaS platform, an e-commerce site, a social media feed, project management, data viz, or anything with significant client-side interactivity and state that needs you to, work, then the bloat of a framework is the cost of doing complex business, you cheap bastard. And modern tools like tree shaking, code splitting, and lazy loading will help you mitigate the costs significantly. It's about choosing the right fucking tool for the right fucking job, not stubbornly using a screwdriver when you need a goddamn sledgehammer. So on this point, I've always been annoyed when people get mad at React for being 200 kilobytes because every fucking website I've ever touched has hundreds more kilobytes of code written by the company and hundreds more of other random fucking libraries. Things like JS TikTokin, which is not a library you should use on client ever because it's like 5 fucking megabytes, is 5 fucking megabytes. It's kind of crazy. This site has a huge favicon, which it shouldn't. Cool. The favicon is larger than React is. Just fucking make it an SVG when you can. And if you can't, just do some level of fucking basic compression. Come on, guys. Anyways. So when should I just fucking use React or a similar framework? When your application is non-trivial client-side state, when you need reusable components to build a consistent and maintainable interface, when you're building an SPA or something that feels like an app rather than a document, when you're working with a team and need shared structure, this is a huge one. Working on a static HTML page solo, fine, cool, you're weird, but whatever. As soon as you have a second person, having structure helps so fucking much. Even if the second person is some fucking AI, by the way. When the complexity of the interactions would lead to unmanageable spaghetti code in vanilla.js. And when I say complexity of the interactions, what I mean is there are more than 2 buttons on your fucking page. And when you want to leverage a rich ecosystem of battle-tested library and tools, or when developer velocity for complex features is more critical than shaving off every last kilobyte for your mostly static page. The real fucking problem isn't React. It's you misguided fool. It's developers using a goddamn nuclear bomb to crack a nut. It's cargo culting the latest tech without understanding why. It's trying to build a simple fucking contact form with microservices, Kubernetes, and a team of 20 when a mail to link would have done the job. It's like using fucking military grade flamethrowers to light your grandma's birthday candles. Utter goddamn overkill, you clueless fuck. But don't throw the fucking baby out with the bathwater just because some idiot doesn't know how to use a power tool without cutting their own dicks off. React and its ilk are powerful tools that solve real, complex problems. The problem isn't the tool, it's the idiot wielding it inappropriately. So for your next complex, interactive, data-driven web app, for the love of all that is holy, just fucking use React. Stop pretending like you're too pure for it, or that your artisanal vanilla JS is anything other than a cry for help. Your users and your future self trying to maintain your handcrafted nightmare will thank you. Now get back to work and build something fucking amazing, not just another HTML monument to your stubbornness. Shout out to both authors of this article, one of which is following me, one of which has me blocked. What a surprise. Love it. That's the variety. You know that we're getting a balanced take when you're on both sides of the Theo spectrum here. Anyways, one last thing before we wrap up, just fucking use HTTP. For a proper experience, we should hit this with curl. Now we're living. Just fucking use HTTP. For a proper experience, we need to curl it, which we did. All right, listen up, asshole. You know what's more foolproof than your hippie HTML bullshit? That's right, pure text over HTTP. You see how beautiful this is? The word art fails if I don't have my layout the right size, but God, I love this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you have the link here if you want to check it out. This is hilarious. This is my favorite. This is the best joke of the bunch by far. I think I've made my point here. I don't like these people. The joke is cool. The original fucking website was great. I still think my favorite is better fucking website. It's the most realistic compromise that is acknowledging reality of all sides. The just fucking use React site, I love it. I love the tone of it. I love where this is going. But it doesn't have that original like acknowledgement and balance that the better fucking website did. I almost want to do a fucking tier list of all these fucking websites, but I know fucking better than to pad out this video any fucking more. So I'm just going to be fucking done. Let me know what you think. Until next time, fuck.